Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Des and today we're going to talk about all of the books that I want to read in October. When I originally made a list of books that I'd like to read this month, I had like 25 books on it, which is way too much considering I read like 5 books a month on average. So I did manage to pare it down, but it's still quite big. This list does have a few graphic novels and some shorter books as well, so I'm hoping that I can get through some extra books this month and make a good dent in this list, but we'll see. The first 2 books on this list are library books that I need to read because they will be due in a few weeks. The first book is A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. I mentioned this in my August TBR, I believe, and I didn't end up reading it in August because my library hold was taking a long time and it finally came through, so I have added it to my October TBR and I will be starting this one very soon. As you might be able to tell by the title and cover, this is a historical murder mystery novel. When a wealthy bachelor drops dead at a ball, a young lady takes on the decidedly improper role of detective in this action-packed debut comedy of manners and murder. Contending with competitive card games, tricky tonics, and Swampshire's infamous squelch holes, Beatrice must rise above decorum and decency to pursue justice and her own desires before anyone else is murdered. This one is still pretty new, so I haven't heard a lot about it, but I'm really excited to pick it up. The next book I have checked out from the library is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This is a mythology retelling of Hades and Persephone, and I believe it's about how they meet and fall in love. And it just looks absolutely gorgeous. The next one is also a graphic novel, and this one is perfect for fall and October, and that book is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This is a graphic novel about 2 friends who are seasonal friends, meaning that every year they work together at a pumpkin patch and they only see each other in the time that they work at this pumpkin patch together. But this year is different because they're both seniors in high school and this is going to be their last year working at the pumpkin patch. And so we follow them on their last shift together as they decide to make it an adventure. This just sounds so wonderful and like a great fall read, and I think it'll really get me in the mood for Halloween. The next one is for Allison Page's book club, and that is Chlorine by Jade Song. This one definitely seems to lean into the darker horror genre and will probably be great for October. We follow Ren, who is a swimmer, and it's basically her whole life. She has always had this longing to be a mermaid. Ren aches to be in the water. She dreams of the scent of chlorine, the feel of it on her skin, and she will do anything she can to make a life for herself where she can be free, no matter the pain, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter how much blood she has to spill. This one definitely sounds like it might be a little unhinged in a very interesting way, and it's said to be a powerful, relevant novel of immigration, sapphic longing, and fierce, defiant becoming. The next book is one that I'm really excited for because I read the first book in the series earlier this year and absolutely loved it, and that book is The League of Gentlewomen Witches by India Holton. This is the second book in the Dangerous Damsels series, and it sounds like we follow a secret league of women that practice witchcraft. It also sounds like they might have some beef with the Wisteria Society, which is the group from the first book, so that will be really fun to see. And it sounds like our main character has to go on an adventure, and of course she runs into a handsome man along the way, so there's also a little bit of romance tied into this one. The next 4 books lean a little bit more into the darker, spookier themes. The first book is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. All the back says is, "You will be scared, but you won't know why." It's blurbed as being an ingeniously twisted nightmare road trip through the fragile psyches of two young lovers. I don't know a ton about this book, but I've heard that it's just incredibly unnerving and unsettling, and I've heard that a lot of Ian Reid's books are that way. So I'm really interested to see what I'm going to think of this. The next book is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. I've been meaning to read this book for quite some time now, and I think October is probably the perfect time to pick it up. This book follows two women, one of which went on a deep sea submarine for a trip that was only supposed to last, I think, a few weeks, but ended up being months. And when she resurfaces, she's completely changed. This story follows her and her wife as they come back together, and the story follows the effects that this change has had on their marriage. I believe that the wife that was trapped in the submarine starts to become very different and start behaving in strange ways, and it's supposed to be kind of chilling, and I think will be very interesting. The next one is a short story. It's In Mercy Reign by Seanan McGuire. This short story comes after the second book in the Wayward Children series. It goes a little bit deeper into Jack's backstory. I really loved the second book in this series, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, that followed Jack and Jill in their backstory in the world that they came from. And I loved how dark and unique this world was, and so I'm very excited to spend a little bit more time in that world and see the experiences that Jack had in that world a little bit more. The next book is one that I'm really excited about and is kind of special because it's the first ever ARC that I've received. I was given the ebook of this to read and review early, so this book does not come out until February of 2024, but I think it's going to be perfect for October. That book is Your Shadow Half Remains by Sunny Moraine. This book is blurbed as being like The Last of Us meets Bird Box, which sounds so interesting and so spooky because in this post-apocalyptic world, eye contact causes people to spiral into a violent, deadly rage. Riley has not seen a single human face in longer than she can reckon. No faces, no eyes. Not if you want to survive. But when a new neighbor moves in down the road, Riley's overwhelming need for human contact makes her throw caution to the wind. Somehow, in this world where other people can mean a gruesome, bloody death, Ellis makes her feel safe. As they grow closer, Riley's grip on reality begins to slip, and she can no longer fight her deepest desires. All Riley wants to do is look. This sounds so spooky and creepy. I am a bit of a scaredy cat though, so I will let you guys know how I felt about it. The last two books are on here in case I need something a little lighter and a little less spooky. The first of those is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is actually a carryover from my September TBR. This was the only book on my TBR that I didn't make it to last month, and I still really want to read it. If you're not familiar, Ali Hazelwood writes STEMinist romances about women in STEM. They're very cheesy, very cute, and very fun. This one follows two rival physicists, and I believe it has a fake dating plot, and I believe the main character is also diabetic, which is some pretty cool representation. The last book on my October TBR is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is the second book in the Wayfarers series. I read the first book last month and absolutely loved it. I won't go into the plot of this one because it has spoilers for the first book, but basically in this series we follow a group of individuals on a spaceship traveling through space. We get to see them bond on their adventures. I would say this is a very cozy fantasy series. It has some high stakes moments, but ultimately is very much about found family. I'm really excited for this one. Those are all of the books that I'm hoping to read in October. Definitely let me know which ones you're most excited for me to read, and leave me a comment about the book that you're most excited to read in October. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.